Hey, welcome to yet another Vanguard commentary, and today we do have Lambros versus Maelstrom. And the Lambros does go first this game. Unfortunately, he does go for the G assist, but he does hit to the Great One, but unfortunately not the Nikki Rider, because the Nikki Rider does work as a Nice clone, allowing him to search for the Great 2 and the Great 3. So he does afford to throw the Great 2 as well as a critical trigger riding to the Nerissa here. And the Maelstrom turn does ride to their Radiant Assault, getting the quick show over there. And does swing the Vanguard like this without any other attackers, just checking to a Great Researcher, and turn passes to the Lambros player. The Lambros does ride to his Dennis and calling the Great 2 there, using the skill of Dennis to superior call the top deck, which is a Lambros this time. So he does swing like this, no guarding. He does open a draw trigger there, and a heal trigger will be returned, but will be still requiring at least a 10k guard. Now his turn, he rides to the Great 2 here, checking the top 7 for Maelstrom, and he does hit the Glory Maelstrom here. And do note that this card does allow you to actually add the Maelstrom to hand for free without discarding anything, so he essentially a +1. So he does go for the Great Researcher here, hitting the OG Maelstrom, but this time he does have discard. So far he has already set up 2 Maelstrom in hand, and he does use the Quick Shoe as the fodder. Now he does call the Great 2 Lady here, and just swing the Vanguard like this, giving the pressure, by opening to another Glory Maelstrom, so in total he has 3 Maelstrom in his hand. But Glory Maelstrom is not the main card for Maelstrom in the next turn. So it's up to the Lambros turn now. We shall see how well will he play with his Savas. So he does go for the Savas right here, going for the XL2, drawing 1. And do note that Savas does require 3 Rested Regards to actually even activate the Lambros skill, or rather superior riding the Lambros. So he does use the Savas skill here to rest the Great 2, destroying the Maelstrom Great 2. And then calling the Wheel Assault behind the Vanguard and a Nikki, using the Great 2 to actually rest 2 units, which rests himself and the Wheel Assault to actually plus 10k to himself. Now he does use the Sava skill to actually discard 1 card and then superior riding to Lambros, which allows to restand the whole board. So the idea behind Lambros is to actually you need to set up the rested regards, and then you can restand them for free. But the only problem with Savas currently is that there are no good rearguards to actually rest themselves with. So that's the only issue. Lambros is not a very prominent deck currently. So he does swing with the Great 2 first, which is a Tidal Assault clone, but it's only applicable to the first attack. But the Maelstrom does eat into a huge trigger there, lightening the load of this turn. Now he does swing with the 27k column there, which is very big, and do know that Lambros is able to restand the whole column at that. So he does use the skill Lambros to restand the whole column, but not plussing any 5k because the opener is not a Great 3 yet, but does open a huge trigger, successfully healing, back to 1 damage, and power should be pumped to the left column. And do note it's a triple drive because he does superior ride from the skill of Savas. Now he's swinging for 37k column here, and the Maelstrom does eat to 4 damage. And we do see 2 of the Grid to go into damage zone, which is very critical for Maelstrom because that card does allow him to actually do more than just a twin drive. So he rests on the OG Maelstrom here, and we shall see how will he set up this turn to actually push for damage against the Savas. So he does go for the Great Researcher here, hitting another OG Maelstrom and decide to discard it straight away because he does want to set up for this card called Radiant Assault. He does call the Radiant Assault there, so blasting 1, returning 1 Maelstrom from the drop zone back to the bottom of the deck to draw 1, and ensuring the attack will definitely hit no matter what, ensuring the Maelstrom restand. So he does call the Coral Assault there. He doesn't seem to have the Great 2 rare, which allows him for the triple drive or potentially quad drive there, which is significantly why Maelstrom is strong if you do have those cards. So he does use the Maelstrom plus 3k to the front row, using the critical searcher to actually hit the Tidal Assault clone there. And now using the Maelstrom to hit the Vanguard. And just only a twin drive and a 2 check. I mean a double trigger will be required there, but only a critical trigger is found. Not the best case scenario because you do need a triple drive to actually plus off the restand. So he does hit based on the radial assault and now discarding 2 and now restanding and attacking, but with a critical on it. He does get the draw trigger here, pumping to the side and another Maelstrom. So it'll be 2 damage dealt to the Lambros player, and the Coral Assault will be swinging to the Vanguard with a very high power. And the Lambros does eat to 4 damage, and the Coral Assault end of turn will go to solo draw 1 card given there's 4 attack committed this turn. But the Lambros does have 2 Excel Circles already, and he can even afford to ride the third. I mean, he might even be able to get a third Excel Circle here. We shall see how the Savas will play out. He does decide to ride the Savas here, getting the third Excel Circle, and this might be lethal. So he does call the Dennis there, using a Dennis skill, resting the Wheel Sword, actually getting another Wheel Sword there, which might come in clutch for future plays. And now using the Savas skill to actually rest the second Wheel Sword to actually retire the Radial Assault there. And then using this Grade 2 skill to actually rest himself as well, actually resting the Dennis and the Lambros for the 10k power. And he does call the Nikki there. Nikki will be using his skill to return 1 normal unit back to the bottom deck, and if you do use Soul Charge 1, unfortunately a critical trigger is Soul Charge there, and using another Savas to actually rest himself even, to actually retire 1 more of the Maelstrom cards. And then using Nikki once again to actually return 1 normal unit. In this case, it will be a Dennis here to Soul Charge 1 more card, and now using the Savas skill, which allows him to actually restand the whole board. So effectively, all the costs that he paid are basically for free. And because he does Superior Ride, he does gain a triple drive and an additional 10k power. And do note that because Maelstrom is already on grade 3, he is able to actually plus 5k to the column he does restand. So there will be many attacks done by Lambros this turn, swinging with the Dennis first for 14k, a 5k guard. Another 5k guard will be required from the Nikki. Another 10k guard from the Savas. And a 27k will be required from the biggest column. And now Lambros will attack, standing the whole column and making that column a 37k power now, instead of the 27k. And the meter is actually hitting for 33k on itself. A PG will be forced here. An unfortunate double blank, but a third one does reveal a trigger here, powering up the Lambros. And to note that Wheel Assault is behind the Vanguard, so it's now able to activate the skill, swapping the Nikkis. So the Nikki is able to actually dish out 1 more attack, but the Maelstrom does eat into a 6 damage shield here, and this should be able to save him from the onslaught done by Lambros. And he does successfully survive the turn. And how will he fight back? He does try into the Glory Maelstrom here, which is the best card against the Lambros here, given that Lambros is already at 5 damage. So he does hit the Glory Maelstrom through the grade 2 there, essentially gaining 1 extra attacker for the counter attack. And he does call another grade 2 there to search for the Maelstrom, but he does unfortunately miss the search. He does commit the Glory Maelstrom, but commit to another column, so he's able to do 5 attacks this turn, using the Glory Maelstrom to gain the buff, and the Glory Maelstrom will be swing for 22k. And a 30k shield will be guarded here. A critical trigger is pumped to the side, and that alone will require a 20k guard. The Glory Maelstrom requires a 15. and that is a very strong attacker, allowing a cancel, but he does it to a 6 damage shield here, so it's a return favor by the Lambros player, and the turn does pass back to the Savas, and this should be it. But the Savas does want to ensure the kill, so he will be setting up his move slowly. So he does call the Nerissa there, using Savas to actually rest the Wheel of Sword to actually retire the Grid 2, and Nikki will be rested to return the Lambros to the bottom deck, so charge 1. Using another Nikki to soul charge one more card, and does use the Grid 2 there to actually rest the Nerissa there, and Nerissa will proc his effect, her effect, to actually withstand herself, blasting 10k and soul blasting 1. And then another Savas will basically rest the Nerissa once again to actually gain the additional 10k power. So Nerissa is getting a 20k buff right here. So he does use the Savas skill here to actually superior right into Lambros, withstanding all those Regard that has been rested. So setting up the final blow. So the Nikki does swing for the last attack, and this is game. Thank you for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you do enjoy the content.